And welcome to Sorta My Update. Today we're talking about Defenders, but first, let's talk about a little thing called Facebook. If you want to check out any Sorta My stuff on Facebook, it's Sorta My Brand or Sorta My Comics, which is our nerd news page. You can also see Sorta My Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, if you want. I guess Odle's trying to keep up with it. Alpha Spectre. Anyways, and you got to be listening to this somewhere, whether it's iTunes or SoundCloud. So follow us, like us, whatever the hell it is. Leave a rating and commenting and do it all. And comment for sure, because I will respond. Joining me today is someone you might recognize from back in the day. Like, you know, he's missed a few podcasts, but Mr. Bobb-A Fett, a founding member of Sorta My Podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
How are you? How are you?
He's
I'm expecting an answer now.
Right now. Comment. God.
Oh, lovely.
Fucking
lovely.
damn it.
Me too. I agree.
How dare you?
How about that fight?
I'm offended, personally. Anyways, Bob missed our conversation about Defenders. He had a lot to say about it. But first, Bob, what the hell have you been reading?
Well, first off, I just want to comment, like, I'm loving that right now. This is kind of a fly-by-night, fucking tail of our seats type of podcast today. It was like, hey, you bring the laptop? Yeah. All right, let's set it up. Let's talk, since we're already sitting around chit-chatting anyway. But Vin is sitting here. We're eating Skittles, drinking beer, reminiscing, and he's sitting like a Dr. Evil or what was his name? The Claw in Inspector Gadget?
Yes.
Or your stereotypical supervillain sitting in this chair, stroking a cat that's just perched up on his lap.
I've been doing this for like an hour.
My wife's cat, Priscilla, has originally was real sketchy around Vin. He was trying to pet her. She swatted, bit at him. Now,
I don't like how you're talking to me.
Yeah,
Bob.
now it is a more than
Take him
more
to
than,
the sharks.
More than just an accessory. It is now his evil minion.
She's not liking the way you're talking about us.
Or maybe Vin's her evil minion. That's probably more accurate.
It could be. I called myself King of the Cats earlier today, but is any of us really in charge with cats?
No.
So.
Cats rule the world.
So anyways, what have you been reading, Bob? You missed a few podcasts.
As far as reading, I haven't really, as usual lately, I haven't really been keeping up with anything new. I've been going back and rereading some stories that I've already had.
And you got a lot of back issues to be
Actually,
reading.
the last time you and I hung out, we were going through a lot of comics.
Yep.
Separating stuff that I want to keep, stuff I'm getting rid of, and we have one full long box and about 3/4 of a long box full.
Stuff to get rid of?
Stuff to get rid of.
Yeah,
we still have, I think, like 6 long boxes to go through.
I'm that guy in the group who will come in and help people organize.
Hey, it's future inventory for the shop when it opens back.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing it non-profit apparently.
No, we're all thrown in a little bit.
Yep.
I've read everything from Death of Superman, first volume of Low from Image Comics. One of Odle's favorites. I can't remember what his name, who it was now, but great story.
He's got a lot of favorites. Though.
He does. I think it's the same guy that was writing Iron Fist for a little bit.
Remender.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly who it was.
Yep.
Great story, dude. Essentially, thousands of years in the future, after we've destroyed our planet, we took solitude underwater, and now, like thousands of years in the future, this is the last of the civilizations. We sent out probes to find habitable planets, and we haven't heard anything from them in thousands of years.
It's amazing that our space program is better while we're underwater than it is right now.
I always feel like whenever I try to explain the comics I'm reading, I'm just going to spoil them, because those are the parts that you remember are the good stuff.
And you got to avoid that.
But, just take my word for it. It's definitely something worth reading.
It already sounds like Waterworld.
Kind of. It's kind of like a
Close Encounters.
Bioshock.
Not Close Encounters, but it's Waterworld meets 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Kind of, yeah. It's real fun though. Also been trying to catch up on Saga. I'm up to. I finished volume 5. I think I have about one more volume left.
Is that one of the Miller World books?
No. It's been, as soon as I start drinking, I forget all artists and writers' names.
And we are a few deep at this point.
God, I'm going to kick myself whenever I listen to this, because I'm like, well, you know who this is, Bob. Oh damn it! I don't know. I can't think of. Saga is hands down one of the best stories written right now, in the last decade, and maybe in comics history. Like,
Damn.
it's everything you want in a good comic, dude. I'm telling you, it's.
What do I think about Superman? But Odle told me
I mean,
I'm reviewing it too much on the podcast.
well, I mean, we all have our preferences
He's
and our own particular
probably right,
tastes.
though.
Yeah, maybe. I also finished volume 1 of Batwoman, which was
Oh yeah, New 52.
yeah, New 52 Batwoman. It was really good. I have volume 2. I didn't start on it right away. Right afterwards, I actually went back and reread volume 3 of the New 52 run of Batman, the Death of the Family story with
Nice.
Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo. I always forget how much I love that story, like how beautifully written it is.
Everything from Snyder on Batman
because
is great.
They not only give you just enough fan service where you're creaming your panties, but it's not noticeable fan service, or when it is, it's completely justifiable.
Yeah.
They back it up with like good meaty story, and it's like thank you for doing.
And now
that.
Tom King's
been doing the same thing.
And with this new story, War of Jokes and Riddles, he's been filling in some because the War of Jokes and Riddles takes place around the time of maybe post Zero Year. I want to say post Zero Year, but yeah, it's filling
I
in
enjoyed
some
Zero
gaps.
Year. Did you ever read Zero Year?
Yes, actually, I did.
I
think I missed one issue of it, and that's because who I was borrowing the issues from didn't have that issue.
I have them in trades if you ever want to read them.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Like, I'm reading something.
What else have I been reading lately? What do I have in my bag right now? I have a Justice League story, pre-New 52. I think it's called Cry for Justice. But it's just the Justice League title, not Justice League of America or anything.
I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
I haven't actually started on that, but I've been packing it with me to get.
Sounds like it would be a heavy Black Canary story, because she was the leader of the Justice League for a little while.
Yeah, it might be, but I remember kind of skimming through it. I seen a lot of Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah, I'm still not hearing an argument against Black Canary from there.
No. It's a little foggy right now.
Why don't we move on to
Speaking
one
of
the
foggy,
things? Oh, Foggy Murdoch.
Yeah, it's good to see Foggy again.
Yep. Well, okay, it was minuscule.
It was. I mean,
it didn't need to be much for Defenders.
And honestly, for the most part, a lot of the smaller characters from all the individual shows didn't really necessarily need to be in this story. In this
Colleen
show.
Wing.
Yeah, Colleen definitely.
Night Nurse, of course, gonna be there.
Well, because she's in every show. She's the only one that's in every show. Thank you, Rosario Dawson.
Thank you for being Rosario Dawson.
Okay, all in all, I thoroughly enjoyed Defenders. It was I think it was, I mean, although by the time I got to episode 8, I'm like, damn it, I wish there was maybe 10 episodes. Okay. But initially, whenever they first announced it, I'm like, okay, 8 episodes, I can dig it. Because some of the Marvel shows, Iron Fist, felt like it was drug out a little too long.
I don't try to bring up other podcasts too much on our podcast, just because it's like, it's a classic movie trope. Why bring up a better movie in your shitty movie? Hey. So why bring up better podcasts? No, but the podcast...
Hey, Great Value does it all the time. If you like Captain Crunch, you'll like Colonel Crunchy.
That's working for them.
Yeah. Hey.
But the Weekly Planet, who... I love Weekly Planet, but they said something along the effects of maybe they should do like the independent series, like 8 episodes, and do Defenders as the
longer
episodes.
series.
And that makes a lot of sense. That's perfect.
I listened to that episode yesterday, I believe, and I completely agree.
I listened to it today.
Completely agree.
Or no, yesterday. Oh, I listened to it yesterday.
Because there's a lot of honestly, I think all of those shows, even though like Daredevil season 1 and Jessica Jones are my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
Next in line is like not necessarily in order.
But they were setting the standards because they were the first 2.
But those were the ones that's like I couldn't wait until see the like as soon as an episode ended, I'm like fuck, I have to play the next episode.
I was kind of like
the next 2 in line, and not necessarily in order. Daredevil season 2. There's chunks of Daredevil season 2 I loved more than the first season.
Punisher.
But all in all, first season I liked much more.
Yeah.
And then Luke Cage. Luke Cage was. I really enjoyed it, but it was one of those ones where I watched a couple episodes, and then if I went a couple days without seeing an episode, I was okay. But then I'd go back, watch a few more episodes. There were some spots in it I felt like was a little stretched out. And then we came to Iron Fist, who I was really anticipating, thanks to Odle.
Yeah, right.
He got me reading
he made
the Immortal
me read
Iron
the
Fist
same
run,
thing.
which got me like, okay, fuck yes. Like, I was really excited to see what they did with the costume. I wanted to see where they went with it. Like, obviously, with what we saw in trailers, like, okay, it kind of has that little bit of that the CW Arrow feel. It's been gone for a while, come back, wants to run this company, like clean up the city, type thing.
He spent 5 years in hell.
And then we find out, like, once we're watching it, is like 90% of the show is board meetings.
No, okay, now it gets
the percentage is obviously fucking
way
exaggerated.
off, but there are enough board.
You could cut out at least 50% of the board meetings that were in that show and be completely fine.
Honestly, the biggest problem with the show for me is that it just seems to cover the same ground but with new information constantly.
Here's one of my biggest things about that show. Even in Defenders, not quite as bad, but for being the Immortal Iron Fist, to me, like, yes, Daredevil should be really good with martial arts. He was trained by Stick, 9. He's got heightened senses. But the Immortal Iron Fist should have been the one that was like, that's fucking martial artist.
Master, yeah.
Like, that is the only time, and they've said this in the Weekly Planet. We're not sponsored by the way.
Do they sponsor anyone?
I don't think so.
Yeah, seriously.
We're unofficially sponsoring them.
Constantly talking about Mac Weldon, so like I doubt it.
But they said it too.
Would be
the only time that he's actually worth a damn in a fight is when he finally activates the Iron Fist and he fucking clears the room.
Yeah, and Daredevil puts the hurting on him.
Oh yeah,
like oh man, he makes him look like
whenever they were fighting, dude, he got pretty much the best of him.
Oh yeah,
that shouldn't happen.
Iron Fist barely got a fist. That
shouldn't happen. And then come find out, especially with the Iron Fist show itself, like some of that choreography he learned 15 minutes before filming.
And they obviously did it different in this show. The choreography is way better.
Well, the same choreographer that did Daredevil, both seasons, is one of the Defenders. He didn't do any of the other ones. So and it shows.
And it seems like,
and they look really good, like whenever they're fighting together and shit. You can see they're kind of different styles.
It also
and I love how like whenever Luke Cage is fighting people while everything's going on, he's doing like kind of light punches on people and just kind of stand there like just pushing.
Yeah, and when he throws someone, it's more of just like a grab and a light turn.
Like a nudge him off to the side, You remind me very Terminator-ish, you know what I mean? Just unstoppable.
But you can see throughout Defenders that Danny's gotten, or is getting more used to the Iron Fist, because like he starts out by like, oh, it's not really working here, like I can only do it here.
And that's what bothered me in the Iron Fist show, was just like, he had erectile dysfunction, but with his fist.
And by the end of the show, though, he's able to activate it throughout most of these fights. And most people would
pretty much
argue,
on will whenever he wants.
Yeah, maybe that it was like, oh, we didn't really see the transition. We'll give him a fucking break. 13 episodes. You had 13 hours to get that transition, so fuck you.
All right, well, before I...
You had a rant.
Okay.
You said
as far as my rant, it kind of goes with what we were just talking about. Is like, I'm just tired of him being so whiny and just oblivious to shit.
A thundering dumbass.
Exactly. Thank you, Stick. There are so many situations that he got himself into in this show, or like that shit that he could have avoided easily. As far as nitpicking on this, on the Defenders, how many fucking times did they say the Devil of Hell's Kitchen compared to Daredevil? Devil's Hell's Kitchen was said multiple times. I'm okay with whenever Madame Gao was calling like the Devil's Hell's Kitchen, the Unstoppable Man.
Think about it on Daenerys Targaryen terms. She has all these different monikers, and sometimes people call them by them.
Dude, I'm talking about people in NYPD or in the police department and everybody, even fucking. Some of their friends kept referring to him as the Devil of Hell's Kitchen. He has a name, like
but maybe
it's
that
referred
was
to a few times
to bring him down on the same level as everyone else, because nobody's calling Danny Rand the Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage just
Danny Rand has called himself the Iron Fist the whole fucking time.
Yeah, but nobody else
is. Iron Fist.
Nobody else is.
And Ironclad.
That's another thing I love about this.
Like when Jessica Jones called him Ironclad, he's like, it's Iron Fist. I know.
Yeah. And that's another thing, is that he does not get away with the same bullshit he got away with in the other show in Iron Fist. Like, people are constantly calling him out on it. No, fuck you, Chief. Fuck that. Type shit.
All right.
And so, like, so Iron Fist is the Iron Fist we knew from his own show, but at least, like, the rest of the cast is speaking for us during most of this show.
And oddly enough, that most of that was filmed directly, like, right about the same time.
It was all improv.
Like, it was before Iron Fist came out.
Yeah, really?
So that was before.
Yeah, because that's true. Yeah, so they knew what the fuck they were doing. Yeah, like
apparently,
kinda.
Apparently,
maybe.
I want the fucking Iron Fist costume, dude. Why not? Why the fuck?
We got
not?
Close.
I don't
want to give this away. Like no huge spoilers or anything. But so we're not gonna say why they got close. But we both know
in Defenders.
Close. Yeah.
We're talking about the tracksuit.
Yeah.
No.
But the when and the why of it, those are spoilers. So,
dude, in the Iron Fist season, the flashbacks of Kunlun, what their regalia, their garb that they're wearing there, that was closer to it. Like that's kind of what I thought they were going to do. I was like, oh, they're kind of going to pull Doctor Strange. It's like, this is what I mean. The robes is something they normally wear, but how Doctor Strange was like to top off his costume was like, here's the fucking cape. Pow.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. I thought it was like, well, fuck it. Here's the mask. Boom.
And if you watch interviews
Why not?
with the guy Finn Jones, if you watch interviews with Finn Jones, every time he gets asked about the suit, he's like, I don't know. I'm waiting to know. Like he's like, they haven't brought one out yet, and they haven't talked to me about one yet. So I'd love to. I wanted.
I mean, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage is completely understandable. It's like they're fine how they are.
Yeah, they do.
They have Luke in a yellow fucking
shirt,
t-shirt for 90% of the time, and then when he's not, he has yellow on his hoodie. So it's like, I'm fine with that. That's perfect. Jessica Jones doesn't wear a costume anymore.
Yeah, right. She was Dazzler.
I think so. No,
Dazzler was a mutant.
Dazzler was a pop star thing. Yeah, no, it
wasn't. Oh no, yeah, that's right. She was a fucking pop star. There's a whole.
She was an X-Men.
She was a
Grant Morrison actually used her. Of course, Grant Morrison used her and like turned her into something really cool because that's what Grant fucking Morrison does. He gets these obscure characters that haven't been touched and like no one else would fuck with them because they are so weird and stupid. It makes them worth a damn.
She wasn't Shadow Cat. That was Kitty Pryde.
No, in Jessica Jones the season
they say it.
They even pull out the costume.
Do they? I don't remember the costume getting.
What's her name? Her sister or whatever.
Radio chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Radio chick pulls it out like during a flashback scene. You don't remember that?
No, man. It's been a while though since
I was really thinking about going back and rewatching Jessica Jones.
The whole thing in one night at Odle's house.
I did it in like 2 nights. Yeah. Jessica. Do you know that it's been confirmed David Tennant will be in season 2 of Jessica Jones?
Yeah, but it's pretty much thought that. Well, I guess he has lived in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's lived through some shit. So maybe a snap in the neck won't necessarily put him down, but.
Dude, he's been one of my favorite villains, period.
I feel like it's more believable that he's just in her head.
It's psychological.
Here's my problem, is I fucking hate this attachment to villains. Like, oh my god, David Tennant was really good in Jessica Jones. And I'm not just being mocking there. Like, he was great. That does not mean we need to see David Tennant all over the... It's like the same thing happened to the fucking Joker. Same thing happened to Doomsday. Fucking... Just because a villain is compelling for one story does not mean he has to be a part of every story. I was talking about the Weeping
Angels earlier as far as Doctor Who goes. Same thing, dude. That first episode, the episode's called Blink.
Yeah.
That episode is eerily fucking scary. It's creepy. It made them menacing. But then when they brought him back 2 or 3 times seasons down the road, it watered him down.
And I get the contrast between comics and TV shows / movies. Yeah. Because with TV shows and the movies, there's this huge gap in between products. And with comic books, if you were to put out like the next 17 issues of Batman, all with Joker stories, different, this is going to be the next big Joker story, and this is going to be the next big Joker story, and this is the next big Joker story, it'd fucking kill the book.
Yeah.
For sure. But that's because they have such rapid... right now it's a twice-monthly book. It comes out so rapidly. So maybe you could argue that it's...
granted, they have done that. They haven't got to the point where it seems like Joker was every fucking story.
But now it's different, and it has been this way before. Like in the better days of comics, they branch this shit out. They should really start taking that page and applying it. Because you know what? I don't know much about Jessica Jones. Her main villain that I know about is Kilgrave. I didn't know much about her before the show. I barely know much about her in the comics now.
You want to know something kind of cool? I think it's kind of cool. Becky watched Defenders before me, mainly because I broke my phone.
Yeah.
On fucking the Friday that it was released,
yeah.
And I didn't get to watch it until Tuesday, I believe. The reason why she watched it is because it's the first thing that Jessica Jones has been in since Jessica Jones. She has not watched season 1 or 2 of Daredevil. She's watched like bits and pieces of Luke Cage whenever I was watching it, but nothing really at all.
Yeah.
And then watched none of Iron Fist. The only thing she's ever watched, as far as the Marvel Netflix goes, is just Jessica Jones, and loved it. As soon as she saw Defenders pop up on Netflix, she sat and binged it all in, like, I think it's just one setting, essentially. She knew nothing about Iron Fist prior. She knew nothing about really Luke Cage prior, besides what she saw in Jessica Jones. And then really knew nothing about Daredevil. This Daredevil, she knows a little bit about Daredevil from like the Ben Affleck movie and shit, but
yeah,
other than that, nothing. She loved this. She thought it was cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things I just don't want to see. I'm tired of hero villain saturation. Yeah. Like Loki is going to be in the next Thor, and while I love
Tom Hiddleston, I love his Loki. I feel like dial back a little bit.
We got Loki in Thor, and then Loki in Avengers, and then Loki in Thor, the Dark Thor.
We got the Dark Loki.
Wait a minute, was Loki in Avengers too? No, he wasn't.
No, and he also was not in Civil War.
Yeah, I don't think he's been in anything since.
He'll be in Ragnarok.
Yeah, he's gonna be in Ragnarok. But it seemed like we were gonna be dealing with Loki for a long time. Luckily, they caught that one.
Well, I figured.
They stopped that
with the way that
bad.
last to be seen, he was personating Odin at the end of Dark World.
Yeah,
and we haven't seen him since then. So I knew that by the time the third Thor movie came out, at the least, that's when we'd see him. But going back to Defenders, going some of the things I really liked and I thought was kind of cool. Like there was a scene where Jessica Jones goes to this club to find one of the members of the Hand, and all the lighting was bluish purple.
Yes, yeah, we made note of this.
It was all downstairs on the first floor, and then when we went up to the second floor, all the lighting was red. And then right as soon as we went, started fighting up on the second floor, Daredevil pops in. That's why the lighting was red. Yeah. And then there were shots where they're both fighting side by side, but where she was standing, you could see the lights from downstairs, and it's coming up, and it was that purplish blue color. And then where he was standing, it was red.
They did that throughout the whole show. If you notice, go back and take a look at the first few episodes, and I'm sure they do this throughout. In the scenes with Daredevil, the lighting is usually reddish,
and the music always matches kind of what the music was.
And the ones with Luke Cage is like yellow. I made note of that,
and not only that, but like whenever it shows Luke Cage's stuff, all the camera angles and like the little camera tricks that they used in the Luke Cage show, that always had that. To me, it felt like that 70s, like a 70s movie type of feel.
Yeah, an exploitation.
Exactly. Yeah. He was sitting in the subway in one scene, and like the shot was like through the bars and looking up at him, so you could see the bars and shit. But it's like that's how they filmed all of Luke Cage season. And then whenever it showed Iron Fist, of course, you had some Wu-Tang fucking playing in the background here and there. And it all felt like it tied together.
Even all the way down to the last fight there underneath New York City. With the lighting thing, at least, there's that one shot of all of them standing side by side, and each one is lit up by a different element of this underground cave, but the lighting is perfect to that character. Yeah, they did, the production value on this was amazing. The director of photography, deserves huge credit. I wish I had his name written down in front of me.
I was a little bummed that I didn't get to see Frank Castle at all. I thought there was at least going to be a mention, something.
But he went off and went on to do his own thing and stuff. I really don't see where he would have gotten tied into this at all. So did you already do your Danny rant?
Pretty much he was whiny.
Because I was gonna say that didn't really feel like a rant.
In my head, it was a lot more aggressive.
Felt like slight annoyance. So is that all you thought about Marvel's Defenders? Everything you
I'm
got
glad
on it?
Misty lost her arm.
Right, right, and then they have the.
I'm ready
okay. All right, fine. One spoiler. I feel like that's like a bit of a spoiler, but we can leave that
Oh,
in.
well, yeah, true.
We can leave it in. Fuck
She
it.
found it.
Like,
She
Misty
knew where it
Knight
was at.
has a cybernetic arm throughout a bulk of the comics that
Yeah.
she's been in, so it's fine. Whatever.
And whenever
People probably expected it.
whenever he was talking, they were talking about the end about how they have Danny has ties to the hospital.
I was so hoping they were gonna say like Danny has friends at Stark.
Stark, or even if it was just like you know, I mean, at
like
Rand
that.
Industries, they have some prototypes of some cybernetic limb replacements, something
stuff. Yeah, like just come on,
or like,
fuck.
or no, would have been great.
Why
No,
do they
would
have
have been
to-
a great tie-in because they didn't really mention anything from the MCU.
They said the incident like once or twice.
Well, if they would have been like, this is, you know, I mean, Rand Technologies has been kind of dabbling in. We acquired some alien technology from the incident, and
Some
we're
different
trying to use them
patents
for
and
like
stuff.
improving humanoid cybernetics
Yeah.
for replacing limbs for like soldiers in the battlefield, la di da. So they're using, you know, some of that.
Yeah,
That technology to make.
At this point,
that way it would explain like why they have such high tech equipment. Well, because it came from the fucking the
these
invasion.
shows have been around so long, and the incidents have happened are so old now. Can we just fucking say Chitauri? Can we just fucking say Iron Man? Can we say Stark? Fuck something like that. Is the most annoying part of this is that they're indirectly acknowledging the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I was expecting to see Spider-Man since he's in New York and they're pulling all the New York out.
And he would work great on this ground level with these heroes. Like,
I wouldn't have been mad.
I love seeing Spider-Man with Luke Cage.
Let me see Coulson or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just
right?
like I just want to see some tie-in.
Jesus.
Besides
it's like
Rosario
you're doing
Dawson.
so much right, and then there's just these like tiny little things that we need. That you just need to push that envelope.
Dude, and I've been saying for a while, like, it would be great if in Infinity War, while all the cinematic universe heroes are up in space doing their fucking thing, fighting Thanos, like, chaos starts happening down on Earth, and then, like, that's a perfect time for just a quick 5-minute fucking scene of, like, the street-level heroes
it won't
taking out some thugs. Like,
we
why the fuck wouldn't you, though?
We would have heard about it.
Why wouldn't you? Like, that'd be a perfect time to even throw in some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fucking tie-ins. Like, why not? Just tie it all together. Like, give us what we fucking want. Stroke the shaft and cup the balls.
You know what, though? I'm thankful because at least we have, like, a solid cinematic universe.
Dude, at least we have this much variety to bitch and complain about.
Right, right. All right, well, I think that's where we're going to wrap this one up, guys. We got Bobb-A Fett here to do a little update for us. We hate that you can't be on the show, man.
Yeah, well,
we look forward.
I'm definitely going to try to push, especially sometime soon. Granted, with winter months coming up, I will be out of town a lot more.
Yeah,
and that's the biggest thing. I don't know if it's really been explained much, but biggest reason why I can't really be on the show right now is like I work so much, and I'm usually out of town a lot. I have 2 kids, wife. My free time is usually like a day and a half. Yeah. And in order for me to come down into town to your house, even though we'll plan on a few hours, it always ends up being like a 6-7 hour fucking ordeal.
It's never that long. Come on.
It's been 6 hours.
Really?
Sure.
It went 6 hours once?
It
couldn't be every
times.
time. It definitely
a couple times. At the very least, we'll plan on 2-3 hours, and we'll be down there at least 4 or 5.
We have done that before, for sure.
Yeah. Hell, a lot of times we sit around for a good hour before we even hit the record button.
We've been getting better at that, though. We've been getting better at getting right to those serious shit recordings and stuff.
But that's really the reason why. It's like trying to invest more time in my family and be at home and fix shit at the house that needs, like, tomorrow I gotta rip up my floor and replace shit in my floor.
How dare you help start a podcast?
Goddamn the responsible adult life.
No, it's not even that. You're choosing your family over the podcast, man?
Well,
come on.
If I can get 100 people to say that they want me back on the podcast.
You hear that? 100 comments on this SoundCloud
separate
video.
People.
different
It had
people.
to be all different people. It can't just be one
4
person,
different
100
people
comments.
who have made 25 accounts each.
I will settle for that.
So...
If we at least have 4 fucking solid listeners, I might come back.
Shit. No, we do have.
I'd like to actually find out how many legit listeners we have.
I mean, we have
you
at
can go
least,
by how many views and stuff we have on things and how many listens we have on
we
things.
have at least 4 or 5 legit listeners. I've had people tell me that they're a little behind on the podcast. I've had, oh shit, that is big yellow jacket or wasp or something. Right, it's right on your collar. Oh, it's huge. Yeah, I wouldn't have even done all that. Fuck you.
Get him,
cat. Get him, cat.
Yeah, I think it was big enough to pack off that cat.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, the cat's done.
Yeah.
It's like, you tried to sacrifice me to a fucking gigantic insect? Hell no.
That's a good sign off.
Yeah.
Bob almost got killed by a bee on record, on air.
On air. And you know what doesn't kill me is that badass outro music.